Well, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, we have a very special treat for us here this afternoon because the Elliston Pastoral Company have been rearing these cattle up there in the foothills of the Hunter Valley, and all thanks to Tyrrell's Wine, we have got the World Series Campdraft that has touched down once again for 2018 here into the Spotless Stadium. Last night, round number 1, we had 16 competitors. We had 11 competitors complete a course, and the winning score was 91 out of 100. And we can see our stockmen and women out there warming up this afternoon, looking ever immaculate. Lindsay Douglas, dressed by R.M. Williamson. What an exciting event we have coming up.
Absolutely, Tim. So you said last night we had 16 of the very best out here competing in round 1. We had some seriously high scores, and we could not believe last night just how many did successful full rounds. Our first place last night was Hugh Miles on 91. Andrew Chapman came in second with 90. Nigel KABLE, who is our reigning champion of this, he's had 3 years consecutively taking this event out, got a score of 89 last night in third place.
Now, anyone who has been here last year will have known that Kate Day, who we were working with, was sitting up here beside me, and this was by far, I think, her most favourite event. And Kate, we hear, is here in the grounds today. She's not here this year due to health reasons, but hey, Kate, we hope you have a speedy recovery, and we can't wait to see you again soon.
That's right. Kate absolutely nailed this camp draft because she's so passionate about the sport, and just warming the seat for you here, Kate, for next year.
Well, it is always an exciting event, and a man who gets more excited about this than anything else in the world. It is great to welcome him back here to the Spotless Stadium. Jim Callahan, welcome to the Sydney Royal Easter Show and the second day of the World Series Camp Draft.
Well, thank you very much, Tim and Lindsay. Yes, and Champagne Camp Drafting it was in round 1 of the World Championship Camp Draft, and round 2, I got that feeling it's going to be just as good, Tim.
You know what I like about tonight, Jim? You have moved the camp over here to our side of the arena so I can see exactly what's going on here in the camp.
Well, Tim, I haven't moved the camp, but the judges have decided to move the camp because yesterday afternoon the sun was sort of almost set. But so they think of the competitors, if they were over on the far side, they'd be coming straight out looking at the sun in their eyes.
Now, Jim, there are many people here who have seen Camp Draft many, many times, but there are a lot of people like Lindsay and myself that might have seen a little bit, and then there's a big group of people that have never seen it before. What is Camp Drafting? Where did it come from, and how does it work?
Well, Tim, we call it the World Championship Camp Draft because nobody in the world than Australia worked cattle with horses except the way that we do as Australia's own horse sport, camp drafting. And just to run through the rules and regulations here, where the cattle are gone in through what we refer to as the cattle camp. The competitor will go in there and select a beast and bring that beast to the face of the camp and do 3 or 4 turns, and he'll call for the gate, and that's out of a possible score of 26 points. It can be either a right or left-hand course, and I would say that this afternoon is going to be a left-hand course. So we call them pegs, but as you said yesterday afternoon, they are trees. So yes, so the first peg with the tree will be taken on the left, and they'll come back in. They get 2 points for that first peg. Do a changeover. The second peg will be taken on the right. They come back around and do the crossover. They've got 3 out of 4 for the course. Then as the stewards put the pegs out, or the small trees, they'll be a lot closer together, and we refer to that as the gate. So if they're lucky enough, as we seen yesterday evening, 11 out of 16 full round runs, that'll be 4 out of 4 for the course. The horsework, that is the speed of the run, the control of the run and how it's controlled, that is out of a possible score of 70 points. So you put the 26, the 70 and the 4 is out of a possible score of 100 points, Tim.
We have judges here, Lindsay Douglas. Who are our judges in this competition?
That's right, 2 judges are part of our World Championship Camp Draft. It's Keith Horrigan from Walker and Fred Patterson from Gloucester. It's actually Fred's 3rd time judging the World Championship Camp Draft.
And Jim, the cattle that we see down here, we mentioned as they came out, lovely to have the support of the Packer family with Elliston Pastoral Company. These cattle have been trucked down here and they get their 2 minutes of fame, they get one run. Is that correct?
That's correct, Tim. And these cattle have been living in five-star accommodation out here at the backyards. Been on the great water yards and have fed the very, very good quality hay, and they've been very well looked after up at Elliston. But under these conditions in the Hunter Valley, it's great to have that contact with Elliston Pastoral Company. Many thanks to the Packer family, manager Rob Teague and Scott Mitchell and the team at Elliston. They've been formed a great relationship with the RAS over many years.
They most certainly have. And Jim, I know that each and every evening, as soon as the camp draft is finished, I'm a bit concerned because we're a bit earlier this afternoon, you always go and enjoy a wine. What sort of wine is it that you love to drink?
I find the best wine, Tim, it comes either red or white. As you said yesterday, I know a little bit about wine, but it comes in either red and white, but it must have that labels with Tyrrell's written on it.
They are Australia's own since 1858, Australian owned and operated Tyrrell's Wine. They have been a partner for as long as I can remember with the Camp Draft, and it's wonderful to keep that association going.
There's no doubt about that, Tim, to have that long-lasting relationship with any sponsorship, but many, many thanks to Tyrrell's. Also, I think Lindsay touched on it there earlier, you might notice all the competitors, the ladies and the gentlemen, all decked out in their great blue shirts, kindly sponsored by R.M. Williams. So many thanks there to Mr. Terry Goodyear, the CEO of R.M. Williams, for looking after the competitors with their blue shirts and the R.M. Williams.
And if you look up to the spotless stadium big screen and cast your eyes just about 2 metres down, you'll see that you too can go to R.M. Williams here on site and pick up a shirt if you like the one that you see out there.
Most certainly can, but Jim, our competitors warm up and they'll go through their paces. After last night's competition, have you got yourself a favourite?
Well, Tim, I don't go real good on backing racehorses, so I think I'll just stay neutral.
The challenge of this competition is that we really are looking at some of the best competitors in Australia. To even make it out here as part of this particular competition, they must have placed in top 5 as a rider in a previous Sydney Royal Easter Show World Championship Camp Draft. Otherwise, they need to be one of the highest placed riders in the ABCRA Open National Standings. They need to also have been a Warwick Gold Cup winner in order to qualify. They don't need all of these things, of course, they just need one of them. They can have been a previous winner of the Paradise Lagoons Open Draft and a number of other major competitions around Australia.
They've certainly got the performance on the board there, Lindsay, and when you look at the very, very good Australian stock horses and Australian quarter horses and the top competitors, no matter what sport we're in, it is very, very good to see the best of the very best, and that's what you're seeing here at the Royal Easter Show.
So each of the competitors, as we said before, if you've just joined us, this is camp drafting. Jim Callanan is down there on the ground. Lindsay Douglas and myself up here in the box. A competitor will go into the pen. They'll cut a beast out. They'll then work that beast to try and get maximum score. I think Jim said 26 points is the maximum for the score in the yard. They'll then call for the gate. The gate will open. They will come out and they'll do a clover leaf around the 2 pegs closest to the yard, and Jim will tell us whether it's a left or right course.
That's right, Tim. Well, the judges have changed their mind today on round 2 of the World Championship Camp Draft. It is a right-hand course in round 2, right-hand course.
So does that mean they'll come and go to the peg closer to the members' stand first, Jim, as we look at it from here, or closer to the big screen?
Tim, there's no doubt about you. You are a very, very quick learner. Tim, that is right. The first peg will be taken on the right, and if you come around that peg on the right, that is 2 points for that peg. The second peg to be taken on the left, you get another point for that one. They'll come back around, they'll form the figure 8, and then go back over, do a crossover, and then try and put the beast between the 2 pegs closer together that we refer to as the gate, and that is 4 for the course.
And Jim, you bring us a little list every day that tells us which order each of our 16 competitors will run in, and that's because they run in a different order in each round. There are some advantages to going first and different advantages to going last, and first out tonight we'll be having the wonderful Sue Duggan, who placed equal 5th last night with a score of 87.
So Sue Duggan from Coolah. She'll be competitor number 1. And with Quindella Chief. First year here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show.
That's right, it's an 18-year-old gelding Quindella Chief. And Chief has been an accomplished all-round horse for the entire Duggan family, been ridden at shows, pony club, and won challenge and drafts at all sorts of levels. And wherever Chief goes, he's very well recognised by his unusual bright blue eyes. Sue, of course, is a farmer, a wife, a mother, and a current, I should say, ABCRA Lady Rider title holder.
So round 1, we had the wonderful line of the straight Angus steers. Round 2, we have the Angus cross steers, the Black Boily steers, the Angus cross. And once again, many thanks to Elliston Pastoral Company. So as Sue Duggan, she's about to make her selection, and we'll bring that beast to the face of the camp for 3 or 4 or 5 turns. She'll be going for the big points out of a possible score of 26. And it is a right-hand course. The first peg will be taken on the right. So she's just trying to get the steers to settle down the back of the camp and try and get one off nice and clean. And sometimes it only takes a step one way or just a little bit of a lean to, and she gets one off nice and quietly. Sue Duggan, she's about to make her way out into the main stage here of the Spotless Stadium. She calls for the gate. And it's a right-hand course. This is Sue Duggan with Quindella Chief. And around the first peg they come, and things are looking pretty good here. As the steer runs on, he says, "I'll duck over here towards the members' stand. That's the place to be," and that's the place to be, boys and girls, mums and dads, here at the members' stand of the RAS. Now they do the changeover. They've got 2 out of 4 for the course. They do the changeover around the second peg they come. Now Sue says, "Well, just sit back a little bit." And Quindella has a bit of a chew on the bit. He says, "Let's go now. Quindella Chief, they want to be the chief." Now, girls and boys, mums and dads, we get pretty exciting now. Can Sue and Quindella Chief, can they do it? Can they do it? Yes, they can. Give her a lovely round of applause. Sue Duggan from Coolah. And her husband, John, I know, sitting in the stand. He'll be very pleased with that run.
What a start to camp drafting, second day of World Series camp draft. While we wait for the score, the second rider out will be Cara O'Brien on O'Brien's Rosette. And this is a 12-year-old stallion, Bay by Oaks Acorn. And this is twice has won the Abbey Open Challenge at the Australian Stock Horse Nationals. And the O'Brien family have produced horses with a versatility that have been excelling at high levels in all disciplines at local and state and royal shows.
Okay, we have a score for Sue Duggan, and Quindella Chief was 21.5 for cutout, 60.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 86 points. 86 points as we join Kyra O'Brien with O'Brien's Reset. And out of the camp they come, and he just cuts it pretty short. And Kyra says, "No, we've got another 4 rounds to go." But give her a lovely round of applause there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Sometimes things just don't work out the way you want them to go, so there'll be a cutout score there only for O'Brien's Reset and Kyra O'Brien of 22.5 points. 22.5 points there for Kyra O'Brien and O'Brien's Reset.
Well, next in camp, you'll have Hugh Miles on Peel Vale Wishes. Calls in Wishes around the stables. First place last night with a score of 91. He comes to us from Tamworth, owner of Peel Vale Stud, established over 20 years ago, and they've been competing Australian stock horses at Sydney Royal for many, many years now. He was the 2017 ABCRA most successful rider, 2 times Cloncurry Stockman's Challenge winner, and a multiple finalist in the Warwick Gold Cup. Certainly a seasoned performer here this evening. And this is Peel Vale Wishes.
He calls for the gate. He steps out into the Spotless Stadium. He's on centre stage, and Peel Vale Wishes around the first peg. And look at this, right up on the beast shoulder. Hugh Miles with Peel Vale Wishes. Oh, and a beast has just slipped here. And he says, "Gee, sorry about that." And there goes the judge's whip. Our cutout score for Kyra O'Brien was 22.5 points. 22.5 points for Kyra O'Brien.
Well, next out into the arena, we have Paul CARLON on Heatwave, and Paul is riding a 13-year-old bay stallion. Heatwave, no stranger to the Sydney Royal Easter Show, having competed first here in 2011. And Paul CARLON, he's been the champion of champions at the Warwick Gold Cup in 2017.
19 points there for Peel Vale Witches and Hugh Miles. 19 points for Hugh Miles and Peel Vale Witches. Paul CARLON, the grazier, calls for the gate. He makes his way out into the Spotless Stadium. Right-hand course, the beast steps out into the ring. He says, I've got a fast one. Or he says, I'm going home to the Hunter Valley. And makes his way back out to the exit gate, where our cattle stewards, David and Peter Kelly, will put the beast away in the return yard.
Well, not quite having the number of successful rounds we had last night, but next in camp, this is Troy Palmer on Binya Impressive Destiny, ID for short, and 288 registered progeny by Impressive Destiny are registered with the Australian Stock Horse Society, certainly having quite an impact on the breed. 13 years of campaigning this horse, a National Futurity winner in 2005, Australian Stock Horse Open Challenge winner in 2014. It was last year's landmark Stallion Draft winner.
22 points there for Paul CARLON on Heatwave, 22 points for Heatwave and Paul CARLON. So Troy Palmer, we pick him up coming around the first peg, and Troy Palmer, the great combination, Impressive Destiny, around the first peg. They got 2 out of 4. They do the changeover. Impressive Destiny. The Spotless Stadium is no strange area for Impressive Destiny now. He says, just leave the footwork to me, Troy. You look after the steering wheel up there. And he says, come around. He says, just drift a little wide out here. And look here, boys and girls, mums and dads, warm them up. It's looking pretty good for ID and Troy Palmer. Oh, it's 100%. Oh, and he just, magnificent run there. Troy Palmer with Impressive Destiny.
What a run, what a ride for Troy Palmer and Impressive Destiny. Andrew Chapman will be the next of our competitors into the ring. Second place last night with a score of 90. He rides Digby, a 16-year-old gelding sired by Acres Destiny. And Chapman, the 2013, he was third here. In 2010, he was second here in the World Series Campdraft.
Okay, score here now for Troy Palmer and Binya Impressive Destiny was 22 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 89 points. 89 points for Binya Impressive Destiny, ridden by Troy Palmer. Over we go now with Andrew Chapman and Digby. Now round the first peg, and the Angus Cross steer comes around the first peg. They got 2 out of 4 now. Digby now, he does a changeover. He says, come on, Andrew, let's go. Let's tighten it up. Around the second peg they come. And look at Digby right around here now. And he says, now we'll just sit a little tiny bit here now. And just a little bit of bad luck. As Digby comes around, just grabs hold of the beast now. Can they get it back up through there? Yes, I think they can. And Digby's working overtime. Andrew sits a little. They're trying to get the 3 out of 4. They've got the 3 out of 4. They cross over the line. Can they do it? There goes the whistle. Give me a nice round of applause there, boys and girls, mums and dads. That was Andrew Chapman with Digby.
Well, as we await a score to come through, the next in camp will be Nigel KABLE. He placed third last night with a score of 89, but he'll be looking to one-up that at least today because he won the last year and the year before that here in the Campdraft here at Sydney Royal Easter Show. In fact, he's won 4 in total. Comes from the tiny town of Rydal in the Central West with a population of only 50 people. This is a 20-year-old stallion. He's riding the black stallion Chevin Ivory, and it's certainly one that he's been campaigning exceptionally well on over the years.
Andrew Chapman with Digby scored 23 for cutout, 53.5 for horsework, 3 out of 4 for the course, a total of 79.5 points. 79.5 points for Digby, ridden by Andrew Chapman. Well, we move up to number 7, Nigel KABLE. And that great Australian stock horse stallion, Chevin Ivory. They're out on centre stage in the Spotless Stadium, and he's got a fast one. Oh, and look at the work there of Chevin Ivory. Straight up, just touches the beast there on the shoulder. He comes around now. Can he get around? Can he get around? Let's ride with Nigel as he comes around the first peg. And Chevron Ivory says, well, just sit back here a little tiny bit, Nigel, if you don't mind. But he says, now we can go into overdrive. And look at 2 strides up there. And he's right up on the beast's shoulder. Now, Nigel Cable and Chevron Ivory, boys and girls, tell mum and dad to warm up those hands. Get excited now. Can they do it? Can they beat that whistle? Can they do it? Chevron Ivory says, yes, we can, Nigel. And look at that, straight through the middle again. Chevron Ivory and Nigel Cable.
Wow, goosebumps there, Jim. What a ride for that man. He is a true champion. Well, next into the camp, it will be Grant Whitman with Samuel's Jewel Acres by Acres Destiny, a 5 Australian stock horse, 11-year-old mare. And Grant has won 2 Campdrafts, and the whole family rides at this horse. Jules, as she's known around the stables, from Lochinvale here in New South Wales.
So we have a score coming through now for Chevron Ivory and Nigel Cable of 22.5 for cutout, 59.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 86 points. 86 points for Chevron Ivory and Nigel Cable.
Well, in the camp now, you'll see Ben Tapp is riding Cool Dust, a 17-year-old bay mare, Australian stock horse and quarter horse, campaigning now for 13 years. And had a very successful run in the last few years. Cool Dust has won more than 50 open drafts.
Okay, we go with number 8 now. This is Grant Watham with Samuel's Jewel Acres. Oh, and the beast has done a tricky turn, but look at Jewel's Acres, just the footwork there. Magnificent bit of horsework there from Grant Watham and Jewel's Acres around the first peg. 2 out of 4 for the course. Oh, they're going to tighten it up. This is going to be a magnificent second peg. Look at this is camp drafting right up on the beast's shoulder. Now, Grant Watham comes around the second peg. They got 3 out of 4 for the course. Boys and girls, tell the people next to you to warm up those hands, because look at Jewel's Acres and Grant Watham. They let the steer run on a little bit. It's looking perfect. Should never take any notice of me. Well, bad luck. Give you a nice round of applause, girls and boys, mums and dads. It was looking so good.
I misjudged the face in the camp last time. Apologies about that, Jim. But now we've got Ben Tapp in camp with Cool Dust. And Cool Dust was the 2016 ABCRA Open Rider Aggregate winner and has won a huge number of drafts, competing all over Australia. 2 novice, 1 maiden. And Cool Dust Oaks Dam Stardust won the Sydney Royal twice, ridden by Bruce McNaughton back then.
Okay, a score now for Grant Watham with Samuel's Jewel Acres. 21 for cutout, 58 for horsework, 3 out of 4 for the course, a total of 82 points. 82 points for Samuel's Jewel Acres, ridden by Grant Watham. Okay, number 9 in the draw, round 2 of the World Championship Camp Draft, Ben Tapp with Cool Dust. And there'll be no dust here in the Spotless Stadium. Magnificent arena. Out of around the first peg, can they? Oh, he's just going to cut it in short. And that steer knows where to go. He says, I should be in the members stand with all those boys and girls and ladies and gents there in the members. But give you a nice round of applause. Ben Tapp with Cool Dust.
Gee, we're lucky to have such beautiful Angus Cross steers here this afternoon. All thanks to Elliston Pastoral Company. As next into the arena, we welcome Ghosts of Abbey, or Ghost. And this is that striking horse ridden by Tony Mortimer. And they were 5th place last night on a score of 87. A mare, a Cremello, 7 years of age, by Blocker Aches of Oaks. And Troy has many amazing results in the sport of camp drafting, and great to welcome him back here to the Sydney Royal Easter Show for the second time.
So a score there for Ben Tapp and Cool Dust was 22.5 for cutout, 22.5 points for Cool Dust and Ben Tapp. So Tony Mortimer with Ghost of Abbey, they make their selection, they come up to the face of the camp. Does 1, he does the 2, he's about to call for the gate. And the beast says, I want to go back down here, but Ghost of Abbey says, I've got him blocked. He's about to make his way out into the Spotless Stadium. Goes one way, goes the other. Tony Mortimer, Ghost of Abbey, there's Angus Cross here, says, I want to stop here with all me mates. Just won't look out here at the moment. Ghost of Abbey, Tony Mortimer. Says, I'll go this way, I'll go that way. Ghost of Abbey blocks him up, goes again. And he doesn't want to come out. And he says, now, there's the gate. It's open. I'll duck out here into the spotless stadium. And Tony Mortimer, Ghost of Appy, around the first peg. Now the steer says, I'm just going to have a little bit of a look around and make sure it's nice and safe out here. And Ghost of Appy said, it's nice and safe. I just want you to go a little faster if you would. But the Angus steer says, now I'll get going. They come around the first peg. They got 2 out of 4 for the course. They do the changeover. Now looking for that extra point now. Round the second peg. And that Angus crossed here. Now he's starting. Oh, he says, I want to head back over here. I know what's out in those backyards. The lovely green hay that we've been on since last night. Oh, and he's going to cut a little short of the second peg, and Tony's going to give it away. But give you a nice round of applause. Round 2 of the World Championship Camp Draft. Tony Mortimer with Ghost of Appy.
Well, next in camp is the young April Langridge. This is her first time riding here in the World Championship Camp Draft, but she's been in the Camp Draft arena as a 13-year-old, and she's been riding for 14 years, started competing as an 8-year-old, has won 4 national titles. She's out here on Jekka's request, a 17-year-old bay mare by Dr. Jekyll and out of Meadows' request. It's a heritage stock horse that's been campaigning for 12 years.
There was 17 points there for Tony Mortimer and Ghost of Appy. 17 points for Ghost of Appy, ridden by Tony Mortimer.
So, Jim, we're just waiting for that beast to leave the arena. Gives us a chance to take breather. Another tough night here. Competition very fierce.
There's no doubt about that, Tim. But our cattle stewards, Pete and Dave Kelly, they were about to get it all under control.
That beast just didn't want to leave the spotless stadium because you said that's his one time to shine. He's got to go back to being up at Elliston Pastoral Company from here.
That's a lovely place to be too, Tim, because they'll be very well looked after once they arrive back home. Okay, we go now with April Langridge with Jekka's request, and look at Jekka. She gets right down onto the ground, this pony, and they've had a lot of success. April Langridge with Jekka's request. They call for the gate. They step out onto the centre stage here in the spotless stadium. And look at Jekka. She gets right down on the ground. April Langridge. Now they come around the first peg. Boys and girls, let's go for the ride with April Langridge as she comes around the first peg. And look at Jekka's request now just lays the ears back, says, leave the footwork to me, April, and you just come with me and ride around on the beast's shoulder. Look here. Now, Jekka's request, April Langridge, boys and girls, mums and dads, grandmas and grandpas, get ready. It could be going to happen for April Langridge and Jekka's request. They sit back, they ride. It's looking very good. Oh, magnificent run for April Langridge and Jekka's request.
Hey, the youngest lady in the competition. Hey, Sydney, give her another round of applause. What a ride. We'll wait for the score, and while we wait for April's score, we now welcome out Warwick Lawrence. We've already seen Warwick's sister compete here, Kira O'Brien. Warwick's riding Proud Little Pepto. He was in 4th place here last night with a score of 87.5 at 46 years of age. He's the Forrest Saunders owner. And Proud Little Pepto is a 9-year-old chestnut stallion. And this is the 2015 AB CRA runner-up maiden horser.
Tim and Lindsay, score for April Langridge and Jekka's request. 22 for cutout, 64.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 90.5 points. 90.5 points for Jekka's request and April Langridge. As now we go with Warwick Lawrence, now with Proud Little Pepto. Now around, he just had one go at the first peg, he gets that second attempt. And Proud Little Pepto and Warwick Lawrence, now they got to make up a little bit of time. And Proud Little Pepto and Warwick Lawrence, they're going to tighten it up around the second peg. He's going to pick up a few more seconds. Now he comes around the second peg. Warwick Lawrence and Proud Little Pepto, they get 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4. Boys and girls, can he do it? Let's cheer him on. Can he make it? Can they make the time? Can they do it? Cheer him on. It's looking good. Well, we'll leave that one in the hands of our judges. And now we welcome our Camp Draft judges, Fred Patterson from Gloucester and Keith Horrigan from Branga Plains at Walker.
See Adam Sadler on Tajano spin in camp now. He's the 45-year-old from Bunnan in the Upper Hunter. He's a station manager by day. But out here, he's a camp drafter. He's riding a quarter horse mare whose mother won a reigning futurity. That's Tajano spin. His Sydney Royal history is that it's his first year camp drafting, but he's had 3 years in the main arena show, many years of watching and viewing, and has also had a couple of big wins.
So score now for Warwick Lawrence and Proud Little Pepto, 17 for cutout, 56.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 77.5. 77.5 for Proud Little Pepto and Warwick Lawrence. Adam Sadler. Now with Dejano spin and around the first peg, the big chestnut Borley horse and the Angus crossed here. And look here, the speed is really on. He thinks he's going to catch Winks coming around the second peg. And I wish him all the best. Around the second peg is the chestnut. Winks has, changed colours on the Angus crossed here. And a very fast 2 pegs is Adam Sadler. Now this is going to be very, very fast in time. What's he going to do? He's going to go straight towards the gate. Look here, camp drafting right around the beast's shoulder. Boys and girls, let's do it. Let's do it. Yes, he can. Adam Sadler and Tajano spin. And I know that Alison will be very pleased sitting up in the stand there. Alison and will be riding there with Adam there on that run.
Well, looking to go into the camp now and find his beast, we welcome Gavin White riding Ashcat Destinations Diva. Ashcat's Destinations Diva is a finale landmark challenge in 2016 and won and placed in several Campdraft events. She's a black mare, 7 years of age, Australian stock horse, and been campaigned with Gavin for the last 3 years.
Okay, a score now for Adam Sadler and Tajano spin was 21 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 88.5. 88.5 points for Tajano spin and Adam Sadler. Gav White, around the first peg they come with Ashcat Destinations Diva, and he's got a fast one. Heads right over towards the Sutter stand, but Diva says, well, we'll get around here. Oh, and the beast is going to turn away and cut in sharp there on the first peg. But give me a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Gav White with Ashcat Destinations Diva and has a cutout score there now of 21.5 points. 21.5.
Well, our second last in camp will be Terry Hanigan on Durkin's Onyx. A horse that he's only been drafting for 2.5 years, but a horse that's certainly previously drafted and campaigned with other owners. And Terry himself, well, he's been out there for 5 years, but it's ridden all of his life. This is a 10-year-old bay gelding that he's riding by Mile Springs Omar, an Australian stock horse. And Terry's property is Hollywood Stud, based at Coonamble in the northern part of the state.
So he gets the nod from our camp draft judges. Fred Patterson from Gloucester, Keith Horrigan from Branga Plains at Walker. So Terry Hanigan, he's about to make his selection. Just wants that other beast just to move away, so it'll make it a little bit easier for him to get the one that he's after. So number 15 in the draw, round 2 of the Tyrrell's World Championship Camp Draft. So Terry Hanigan, Durkin's Onyx, up the face of the camp, does 1, does the 2, goes back to the other fence, does the 3, the 4, he calls for the gate, he steps out into the spotless stadium, he's on centre stage, Terry Hanigan from Coonamble. He comes around the first peg and the steer says, I'll just come around here nicely. And then Durkin's Onyx says, well, just sit back here, Terry. And they come around the first peg. They do the changeover. They've got 2 out of 4 for course. Now, can they tighten it up? They're going to tighten it right up around the second peg. Now, Terry Hanigan and Durkin's Onyx. Onyx says, leave the footwork to me. Just get ready to sit back a bit. We better go a little harder. Sit back now. She says, we've got to go the other way. Terry Hanigan, can they do it, girls and boys? I think they can. It's looking great. It's looking perfect. Give them a round of applause. Terry Hanigan from Coonamble with Durkin's Onyx. And I know his wife's here as well. Good to see you here, Robin, and enjoy the atmosphere at the Royal Easter Show.
Well, quick check of the leaderboard before we enter our last rider in. To take the lead, he needs a score better than a 90.5 of April Langridge. Troy Palmer is sitting in second at the moment on 89 and Adam Sandler on 88.5. Our final rider from Roma in southwestern Queensland. He's a single grazier. It is Brendan Fitzgerald and he rides More Rocks, the brown stallion, 7 years of age. And he has won 2 landmark classics, one in 2010 and most recently in 2017.
Okay, a score now for Terry Hanigan's and Durkin's Onyx was 21 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 88 points. 88 points for Durkin's Onyx and Terry Hanigan. So we go with number 16, our final competitor in round 2 of the Tyrrell's World Championship Camp Draft. All the way from Roma, Brendan Fitzgerald. Calls for the gate. As the clouds, they cover the sunlight here on the spotless stadium. Brendan Fitzgerald, he comes out around the first peg. And More Rocks says, just leave the footwork to me. We'll go a little harder. We'll sit back a little bit now. They come around the first peg. Now, Brendan Fitzgerald, he just says, I'll pull back the handbrake a little and let it go again now. He comes up around the second peg. Now, More Rocks, Brendan Fitzgerald, they come around the second peg. They're looking for 3 out of 4. They've got the 3 out of 4 now. Oh, boys and girls, this is our last chance to give the Campdrafters a big round of applause. Oh, I think he can do it. I think he can. It's a perfect run for Brendan Fitzgerald all the way from Roma. So we have the score coming through now for Brendan Fitzgerald with More Rocks. A score of 22 for cutout, 63.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 89.5 points. 89.5 points for More Rocks, ridden by Brendan Fitzgerald. And once again, many thanks to the magnificent line of cattle from Elliston Pastoral Company. Many thanks to the Packer family, to the management up there, Rob Teague, Scott Mitchell and the team. And another wonderful line of cattle for round 2 of the Tyrrell's World Championship Camp Draft.
Well, they're just double checking the scores, but Jim, what an amazing event it's been to see a 90.5 from that young rider, April Langridge, and Jerker's Request. That is a phenomenal effort in anyone's book, and what an amazing result it'll be to see that young lady having had the win. Of course, we'll just wait for the official results to come through, but 90.5, great scores again tonight, Jim.
Great score there for April, her very first year here at competing in the World Championship Camp Draft, and she takes out round 2 on that great score of 90.5 points. Second place goes to Brendan Fitzgerald on 89.5 points. Third place to Troy Palmer with Binny Impressive Destiny on 89. And equal fourth, Adam Sadler, Tajano Spin, and Terry Hanigan on Durkin's Onyx on 88.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the official results come through and the blue ribbon being presented to the winner. Congratulations to April Langridge and Jerker's Request. 90.5 points to take the win of the World Series Camp Draft night number 2. Second place going to Brendan Fitzgerald with 89.5 and More Rocks. Third place, congratulations to Troy Palmer and Binia Impressive Destiny ID. An equal fourth place going to Adam Sandler with Tanaro Spin and also Terry Hanigan and Jurian's Oxen. But our winner is down there with the man of the moment, Camp Drafter extraordinaire commentator, Mr. Jim Callanan.
Well, thank you, Tim. I come here with April. April, what better way to kick off round 2 of the World Championship Camp Draft? That must make you very, very excited.
Yeah, thank you. I was just thrilled to be invited down here. It's been a dream of mine for quite some time. I'm very, very thrilled to have won a round. I'd like to thank the sponsors, Tyrell, and also my own sponsors, EMC Apparel and Hawkes River Saddle Company, who have been very, very generous over the years. Thank you.
April, your first year competing here in the World Championship Camp Draft, and when you put a round like that, great combination with you and Jekka Request, it was a magnificent run. It must have felt good.
Yeah, it was unreal. Look, everybody knows I love this mare to bits. It just means the world that I could bring her down here and put her around the World Championships, and what a great show it is.
And what a great show that you and her put on. What a great combination. And no doubt later on in the evening, you'll go back and maybe crack a bottle of that great Tyrrell's wines.
Yes, certainly. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, April, and all the best for the remaining 4 rounds.
Thank you, Ta.
Okay, there she is, the winner, and first time competing at the Royal Easter Show in the World Championship Campdraft. So when they leave the Spotless Stadium, boys and girls, mums and dads, let's make sure we really warm those hands up for the Campdrafters. Round 2, as we cross back up now to Tim and Lindsay.
Well, thanks so much. And the wonderful Jim Callanan there, the Campdraft commentator extraordinaire. He really takes us through the exciting paces of that wonderful sport that is so uniquely Australian. You can see the big smile on April Langridge's face as she rides off there around the main arena on Jekka's request. Don't be afraid to put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. That was an outstanding ride by the 20-year-old young lady. This is her first time out here competing in the World Campdraft Championship at Sydney Royal Easter Show. So pretty amazing for her to stamp her mark on round 2. Of course, we've got 6 nights of Campdraft though, so every night the opportunity for someone to come out here and get a phenomenal score is open to them. Second place tonight, yeah, you can see there with the red ribbon to Brendan FITZGERALD. Third place to Troy Palmer with a score of 89, and we had an equal 4th for Terry HANIGAN and Adam Sadler. And 5th place, Nigel KABLE. Well, Nigel, of course, the winner of this competition 3 years running leading up to this year. He's actually won it 4 years in total, so they'll make their way out of the main arena. We have got a huge afternoon for you today here at Sydney Royal Easter Show on day 2. We're going to have our official opening of this year's show coming up at 4:30. We'll start with our Tamworth Children's Choir. You'll see the Federal Guard here, and it will be a pretty ceremony.